number 34 of 1966, which unified the nation's civil service and abolished the regions, turned out to be a burden. Many parts of the North felt alienated and provoked by its provisions.
Iran's attempt to unify the civil service. In other words, to federalize the civil services of the various regions then. This started to create suspicion. And around April of 1966, pictures, like picture postcards of the Sardana being trampled upon by military people, and certain provocative statements and publications in the newspapers, particularly the Drum newspaper at that time. This started, and in May, the first riots occurred in Kaduna and in a few other places. Now, certainly, this made the situation very dangerous.
General Russia, who took over, brought in not politicians but technocrats to advise him, and he took certain decisions which, in his own judgment, were aimed at uniting the country, but which had the effect of being regarded as returning the country to a unitary system of government. And there were people who felt that no, this is taking us back to a unitary system. We have had a system of government whereby there were four regions and 4 regional premiers. Those who felt aggrieved by the death of their political leaders and military leaders decided to revenge. And there was a revenge which we describe then as counter-coup.
The dictator was promulgated by the late General John Thomas Agui Ironsi to unite Nigeria. Quite unfortunately, immediately after the January 15, 1966 coup, a particular part of the country, particularly the North, has started to suspect every move of Ironsi because they felt very bad about the killings of their leaders. And with that suspicion, it became clear that the unification decree, because that's the dictator they're talking about, the unification decree by General Ironsi was not going to be seen within the spirit, the nationalist spirit with which Ironsi had brought it out. And one mistake that historians, particularly from the North, have always brought out about the unification decree was that Ironsi was wrong. He said Ironsi was wrong to have sent or to have proposed the sending of southern military governors to northern provinces, because Nigeria was broken into provinces instead of the regions, instead of the colonial regions which had been created by the Richardson Constitution of 1946. So they now said, this is an attempt by the East, by the Igbos or by the South to dominate Nigeria, and that led to crisis. Even I remember very well when Bros Kongi, Professor Wole Soyinka, Nobel laureate, went to the North to go and talk to his friends in the North. You can take his book, Demanded, and you find the details there. He was able to bring it home to everyone that the people of the North were complaining about the unification decree. And I remember Peter Enahoro wrote an article in the Daily Times. I was very young. I was planning to enter the university. And I still remember what Enahoro said. He now wrote an article warning Ironsi. He said, the inscrutable north is beginning to speak, and the language is not pleasant to the ears.
I was opposed to the unification decree. I was. It was wrong. However, the intentions were good. Let's say the intentions were honest, because he had seen the problems in the country. I found it very difficult, but I did criticize him. I said that, number one, he made a mistake in appointing Ojukwu to the east, Katsina to the north, Ejo to the midwest, and Fajui to the west. I said, what a good thing it would have been if Ojukwu had gone, say, to the west, Fajui to the east, maybe Katsina to midwest, and Ejo to the north. You know, show us that you are really after this one Nigeria. What you've done now is the things that we were quarreling about, that the regions were emphasizing ethnicity, you've just confirmed it.
In May 1966, there were riots in many parts of the north, during which many Easterners were either injured or killed. The May attacks led to the exodus of several Easterners from the north and some other parts of Nigeria to their homeland.
There were killings. Lots of people in the north had to move down to the south. Massive movement of people we have never experienced in this country, and which one prays should never happen in this country. And lots of people displaced, to the extent that much later, Lagos itself was being emptied. There are lots of people going to the east. So we, at the University of Nigeria at that time, we even had to go home.
Another coup took place on the 29th of July 1966, while General Agui Ironsi was visiting the western region. General Ironsi, along with his host, Colonel Adekunle Fajui, governor of the western region, were killed. The coup was perceived as a reprisal coup, as many officers who lost their lives were of Eastern origin.
The July 29, 1966 coup, the planners had no plan to take over and establish government. Their original plan, as it turned out later, was actually to break the country, to secede. It wasn't to take over a federal government and run the country. No, it was to secede, because they felt the South didn't like the North as partners.
The aim of the coup makers seemed to me to be one of revenge. I doubt very much if the military that took part in this coup, i.e. mostly the northern officers, had ever met to discuss the political points